Thank you so much, Kaylee. Hi,
Hi,
Doug. How
Josh.
are you?
I'm happy and good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Thank you. And such an honor to be able to speak to you. I'm a long-time fan of your work, and what a fun role the Elder is. I can only imagine how much fun you had on this one.
I had so much fun playing him. Well, Josh, my first love as an actor, as a child, was comedy. I
Yeah.
grew up watching sitcoms and variety shows, and if something was musical or made me laugh, that I was the audience for that. So it was kind of odd to me that my career took me into horror and science fiction and comic book movies and fantasy as much as it did, because comedy was like, no, I really want to be on a sitcom. I really want to be making people laugh. So this has been kind of a late bloomed thing for me to come into more comedy. After my recurring role in What We Do in the Shadows, which was a laugh fest every day, dream come true on set, and then shortly in my final season of What We Do in the Shadows, this came up. And when this was offered to me, I was like, oh my gosh, what a great transition piece for me because I'm playing fewer monsters now and more humans in my old age, now that I'm 65 years old. So uh, it was just perfect. It's an alien, but he looks like me, basically painted gray with a bald cap and some gold contact lenses, and we're good to go. Like that's amazing. Yes, offered at the right time, and even when the humor gets a little naughty, and this one got kind of naughty. I you know. I'll read scripts often and be like, oh, I don't know if I can do this or not. Oh, I have such a wholesome audience out there. But when it's for the funny, all bets are off. I will do most anything. And this was most anything. It's storytelling.
Yeah, it's definitely a funny movie. And, as you say, the transformation, maybe not as extreme as some of your past roles, but it is still a transformation. So, what
Yeah,
was that
little one.
process like for you? Was it a long time in the makeup chair? How did that go for you?
Yeah, well, it was only maybe it might have been like maybe 2 or 3 hours. I don't even it wasn't long enough to be like, oh my gosh. The bald cap was the first thing that happened, and then yeah, there was some airbrushing and spot and painting. It took two makeup artists to get me ready, and contact lenses were the last thing to go in. It was really pretty simple because it was just a smooth, all one color thing, so it didn't really require a lot of intricate shadings and highlights and all that. It was very simple, but needed to be smooth and streakless, you know. Uh, and I mind you, when you start the day in a G string in a makeup trailer with your arms up, like, okay, here you paint me. It can be chilly. It can be, a little bit exposing. But makeup artists and I have had a very tight connection over the decades that I've been working, almost 40 years now. So these makeup artists were top notch, knew what they were doing, and were very quick about it. And we laughed and listened to music and had a great time in the makeup trailer.
Oh, that's awesome. And of course, you have a pretty unique costume as well. Pretty revealing
Well,
costume, I guess you could say. That must kind of play into things as well, I can imagine.
Well, yes. Well, first of all, yes. Of course, when you meet me, I am an alien who's trying to pose as a human who might be like the manager of a taco fast food joint. And so I think that's the fun. That's where some more funny lives, is that I look like something looks kind of off about me because of my coloration and my nakedness. But I'm wearing, a Taco Gary's apron and a little paper hat for, behind the counter hat. I'm thinking like, oh, this is what humans look like at a fast food joint. And but I look naked until the big reveal at the end where I remove the cape, the apron, and you see my little gold lame speedo with a package that doesn't look quite human, right? Or actually, it looks human plus, I should say. So that was again that's more exposed than I normally feel comfortable being. But when it's a comedy, all bets are off. I'll do it. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And a big part of the comedy with your scenes, of course, you're working with Simon and Dustin, and there's a
Yeah.
great line about your character's guacamole themed ability. I'll just say that. But I can imagine you guys must have been cracking up on set working on some of these lines and going back and forth together.
Oh gosh, yes, laughing back and forth all day. And working with Simon Rex and Dustin Milligan as closely as I did, and also I brushed with Jason Biggs as well.
Yeah.
So each one of these actors has a sense for the funny, but they'll have their own brand of funny. I thought they channeled all their funny into their characters so beautifully. Uh, and And but my big finale scene with Simon Rex and our handshake to cinch the deal was what a good sport he was. My gosh. Because I'm like, you know what? This is for the funny. Let's go for it. And he was like, yep, let's do it.
Oh, that's amazing. And you've been part of so many projects of different sizes, the huge blockbusters right down to the smaller ones. And why is it important for you at this stage in your career to, come on board with a film like this and to support a movie that is still hugely ambitious, but it obviously doesn't have that Marvel money behind it, so to speak?
Right, right, right. You know what? Since uh, I think since Hocus Pocus 2 came out and with its big budget
Yeah.
splash on the screens, and since Star Trek Discovery and What We Do in the Shadows are completed now for me, they're both wrapped. I have enjoyed these last couple of years now doing mostly independent film.
Yeah.
And they've been everything from not much budget to Operation Taco Gary's had enough of a budget to it felt like a big budget movie as we were filming it. And but when you're doing an independent film, there's so much creative passion on set for all of us. Our filmmaker Mikey was just fantastic. For him to be able to write and direct and see his vision come true without a layers and layers of studio heads telling him, you got to do this, got to do this, can't do this, can't do that. He was free to do whatever he wanted. And that's why you have such a zany product with Operation Taco Gary's, is because our filmmaker had the freedom to do whatever he wanted to do. And I think there's an audience for for that kind of like, yeah, let's watch this, right?
Oh, amazing. And I mentioned Marvel then. One of my favorite roles of yours, of course, was the Silver Surfer, and Julie
Thank you.
Garner played a different version, the Shalla-Bal version
Yeah.
in Fantastic Four last year. Did you catch her performance? And I'd love to know what you thought of it, having, played that character so brilliantly yourself.
Thank you for that. Yeah, no, I when I got to play the Silver Surfer back in those original Fantastic Four movies, uh, it was what an honor. Are you kidding me to take on a Marvel character that was so beloved and so beautiful and so angelic like. Um, then to jump ahead to the present, when the new Fantastic Four came out in theaters, the studio now Marvel is under the Disney umbrella and all, so they as is Fox now, and I did our movies under the Fox umbrella, which is now part of the bigger umbrella. So they reached out to all of us legacy actors from the original and invited us all to come to the premiere. So I know that Yoan Griffith and I both came and saw each other at the premiere. So I was able to do the whole press line, and they were very, very respectful and very. It was a nice connection of old and new, and I thought Julie Gardner did such a gorgeous job. It was nice, and it was interesting to see the female Silver Surfer based on Shalla-Bal, the character from the comic books. There was some fan scuttle about that because Norrin Rad was the more seen and more known Silver Surfer, but Shalla-Bal was an alternate universe surfer from like one issue of the comic book. So she did have some source material to base her on. So I thought it was brave of her to step into that, knowing that fans were going to be like, "Wait a second," but she was great and did it with great poise and great courage.
Yeah, and of course we haven't met the MCU's Norrin Rad yet, so whether it be in, one of these upcoming Avengers films, which are all about the multiverse, or another Fantastic Four movie, would you ever go back to that role, do you think? Maybe share it with Lawrence Fishburne again?
Well, I would love to voice myself.
Yes.
In fact, I did do the voice on set with all my actor co-stars and was voiced over in post-production. So I love Lawrence Fishburne. He's a brilliant actor, but I would love to, if offered the role again, I would love to take on the entire thing. But I just have a feeling that at my age and with their plethora of younger actors they have to choose from now, that they'll probably go with someone a bit younger, and I'm okay with that because I've moved into a new category where I'm playing, saucy, interesting, colorful old guys, and I love it.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see you back anyway, and I'd love to see you voice the character. But just one last quick question for you with Elder. I saw a great quote about, it's very comforting seeing Doug Jones leading an alien invasion. I think you might have even shared that on your social media. But what was your take
You
on that
did.
quote?
I thought that was really beautifully said. And it was a lovely compliment. Um, I have gotten that kind of reaction from the fandom out there over the years and over all the projects I've done, that the monsters I've played have often had a some sort of soulful connection to the audience, or some kind of sympathetic connection, where they realize, well, he's not all evil. He's got his own reasons for doing what he does, and he's just trying to survive like the rest of us. And I think that this alien, the elder alien in Operation Taco Gary's, is just he's been given an assignment. He's here to oversee the takeover of this planet, and this is what we do. This is how we survive. So sorry if that puts a wedge in your plans, Earthlings, but this is what we have to do. So there's something about like that he's not evil. He doesn't laugh as Earthlings die. But so that I'll take that as a humongous compliment that someone thought that it's comforting that if an alien invasion were led by me, that it'd be okay.
Absolutely. Well, I cannot wait for people to see what you do in this one, Doug. And it's been such a pleasure speaking to you. I'm a huge fan. So thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thanks so much, Josh. Lovely talking with you too.
Lovely to meet you. Have a great day. Thanks so much.